guys, Caroline D'Amore here, the pizza girl, your favorite one to hate on Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. You are listening to the CEO Playground. Enjoy.
Today we have Caroline D'Amore, owner of Pizza Girl and contestant on Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars. Caroline, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so good. I just love the way you looked at me when you said that. But I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me here, guys.
How's your mental health doing?
You know, it's always been a roller coaster ride since I was a little kid. So
Really? We can't tell.
Really? Yeah, no.
No.
It's always been an uphill battle to be genuinely happy. And I think a lot of people out there can relate to that if they're not, lying.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
There you go.
Yeah.
Which is the consensus.
Yeah.
No, okay. So we're super stoked to have you. I think that in store, you're the most popular contestant on Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars.
You are
by far.
You are.
I'm sitting in the presence of a celebrity right now.
I mean, I'm in awe. I'm in awe right now because
guys are
you are the
awesome.
biggest star on Food Stars right now.
Yeah.
You are the food star.
Yeah.
You might be more important than Gordon Ramsay himself on the show right now, based on the things that I'm reading on the internet.
Well, all I have to say is when Gordon Ramsay talked about chicken as pink as Caroline's hair, that was the moment of all moments for me anyway. That was just awesome.
And
I know that I had stuff to do with the pink chicken, which technically is bad. But the fact that I got a comparison to bad food by Gordon Ramsay made my day.
I'm telling you, I'm just the background white guy with the mohawk in the back, right? Everywhere I go.
You're not.
Yes, I am.
You're
Yes, I am.
charming. You always nail those speeches. You're
I'm not charming.
The
I'm
funny
not
quip
nothing.
guy. You have the funny thing to say it always at the right time. What
All right.
am I going to get out of
Everywhere-
that? I'm being honest.
Don't blow smoke up my ass. Everywhere I go, the first question I get is Caroline really like that in real life? Seriously. I finish people's sentences. They go, holy crap, you're the guy from Food Stars. And I'm like, yeah. And they go, I have a question for you. And now I just go, yes, she's like that in real life. She's like that in real life. And they're like, how did you know I was going to ask that? Because I've gotten this question over 1,000 times. I went to go get Starbucks one morning.
Yeah.
They asked me about you. I went to get a haircut. They asked me about you. I went to the fucking bank, Chase. You are a celebrity at Chase. They're like, is Caroline really like that? I'm like, can I just make this transaction and get the fuck out of here?
God.
Yes, she's like that. So
God. I will say that
you owe me an apology, Caroline.
I'm so sorry.
Everybody's asking about you.
I'm so sorry. I definitely.
But I will say,
wasn't expecting that.
this is what I say.
Yeah.
And you're a great sport.
Yeah. Thank you.
You are a great sport. I tell people, yes, she's really like that. She's a hot-tempered Italian woman.
Yeah.
She has opinions. But at the end of the day, she's actually a really nice person. And I never had any problems with Caroline.
Yeah. Thank you.
Probably because I'm married into a crazy Italian family and I
You
know
get it.
how to navigate through those murky waters. But I get it. How do you feel about how people are reacting to you right now?
Here's the thing. I do really understand an edit for television, so I can see and totally understand all of their feelings.
Yeah, because this is not your first rodeo on TV.
Right. It's not my first rodeo, but in a lot of ways, it's the first time I've ever done anything like this, where I actually didn't think this show was going to be as heavily based on dramatic things that happened, which I was kind of excited about for once in my life. It was
Caroline is excited about drama? You heard it here first, folks.
excited about lack thereof, because
Oh.
I feel like my whole life has been one big drama. Truthfully, from the day I turned 5 and my mom died and me and my little sisters are just fighting to survive every day. And I built this kind of protective, shell around me, shall I say, to survive. And that's become this kind of, hot-blooded, tell you how I feel. I don't need everybody to be my best friend because I've been effed over a lot in my life. And I've truly had to, figure out how to be a scrappy kid in this town.
And that's what people don't know about you.
Right.
So
I know.
you just said something there.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
people see you on the show. They see some of the interactions, some of the fighting that you've had with some of our contestants, right?
Right.
Our competition, right? Because
Right.
at the end of the day, this is a competition.
Absolutely.
They don't know. They saw the segment where you talk about, you were friends with Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian.
Which, by the way, if you look at the edit, once again, I never mentioned their names. That was the TV show that did a Google search. I said, oh, yeah, I personally was a party girl. I personally partied with the best of them. That is all I ever said. The TV show decided to go deep into the Google dive. I didn't send them photos of me wasted dancing on tables. I'm trying to run away from that part of me, right? I've been trying to prove to people that I'm not just this wasted party girl for my whole life. So this show was supposed to be a moment for me to prove otherwise, right? So that's why I was interested in the first place in being on a show about my business and about what I work so hard for every single day of my life. But of course, listen, I was this wild, crazy party girl. And that was also part of...
But who hasn't been?
Right. Exactly.
In their lives,
right.
Who hasn't been a wild, crazy person? And any person that sits back and criticizes you for
Right.
hanging out with Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian
Right.
from 15, 20 years ago,
Right.
fuck off.
Right.
They
Because-
do it too.
And by the way,
They
they're
would've done
really
it
nice,
too.
awesome people. So I don't care
Yeah,
what people
they would have
say.
done
Yeah.
it 15, 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But you said something. You're a survivor.
Yeah.
You've learned how to survive.
Yeah.
You've learned how to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You lost your mom
Yep.
at a very young age.
Yeah.
People don't know that side of you. People
Right.
don't know what drives you as a business owner.
Right.
They see what they're shown on TV,
Right.
but who are you as a real person?
Yeah.
Losing your mom at a young age
Yeah.
must have molded your character,
It did.
molded your drive, your ambition, what you wanted out of life.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. And you know what? Thank you. Thank you for actually giving me that opportunity because it has been such a weird
Well, you need it.
world, right? No, thank you. I
you need it.
appreciate it. So for me, my mom, super sad. She got the AIDS virus from a blood transfusion. And my father, he had opened his first pizza shop. And when people want to say, and even I heard you on one of the episodes, Erin, and I totally get it, where you're like, well, she comes from money, right? My dad has a pizza shop. Do you guys know what the margins are on a pizza shop in Malibu with 4 little girls? And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It is...
That's blue
that
collar
is not
work.
right.
Yeah.
So when people started saying oh, the pizza heiress and stuff, because I was friends with legitimate heiresses, it was mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
I've grown up in this weird world of, I was the girl from the wrong side of the beach. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
as weird as that sounds, I was, Malibu High is a public school. You live in Malibu, you can afford to go there. My dad moved us there. He opened his hole in the wall. If any of you guys have ever been there, it's delicious and tiny. And my dad is a rough and tumble Italian scrappy dude who did everything he could to keep food on the table for 4 little girls. Me and my sisters were 11, 7, 4, and 5 when my mom died. We had no nannies, no babysitters, not all the stuff everybody thought. So I lived with my dad in the pizza shop, catering movie sets, which was really interesting. Because after school, we'd be the last kid picked up from school because my dad's still doing a delivery, waiting on the curb. Dad picks us up. We're doing our homework in the car or on the pizza truck. We're all of a sudden on the set of 90210 wearing these horribly embarrassing shirts that say Pizza Kid, serving and working, right? That was definitely not how I planned on meeting Jason Priestley for the first time, okay? But like, if you don't know who that is, come on, Heidi from 90210. But like, I was a hard-working kid, pizza girl. And then when I became a teenager, and a lot of these people that I knew just from going to high school with them, you know, like I went to high school with Brody Jenner and a lot of these kids, which is how I ended up on the hills and stuff, right? So while these kids became my friends, I didn't have the same backing, financial help, nepotism, which I'm seeing a lot of those comments on, you know, different different people.
People think that you've been handed everything in your life, and that's why you're getting into arguments with everybody, because you're a spoiled little brat.
Right.
And you're not.
No.
What you are is a girl that was surrounded and grew up around those people, but you were kind of the black sheep of that demographic.
Yeah.
Because you were hardworking, your father was blue collar.
Yeah.
I'm sure kids are driving up to school in high school in $100,000 cars, and you're probably driving a rundown piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely. My dad.
What car did you drive in high school?
So my first car was a used Jeep, and I loved it. It was a clunky, you know, Jeep. It was a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was bought used, you know, and I had it for so many years. I'm still right now driving a Prius that says Pizza Girl on the side of it. So it's like, I understand that people, and here's how I really got into the world is because I was a DJ. You know, I dropped out of, so high school is rough for me. I dropped out of high school. You know, my dad did the best he could, but 4 girls is hard to handle, right? Like on your own, that's hard.
I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I want to meet your father and shake his hand.
I know. The fact that we're all alive is like a huge thing.
Because I have one daughter, and she's going to drive me insane.
Yeah.
And she's 5 years old. I can't imagine having 4 fucking daughters.
All by yourself, without your wife.
Without my wife.
Right.
I mean, if it weren't for my wife,
right,
my kids would be eating their own boogers and dingleberries.
Oh God.
It's true. It's true. Without my wife controls how my kids are presented. Right. They're kept clean. They do their homework, all that stuff. And it allows me to do my job and provide. But your father had to do everything.
Both, yeah.
And a blue collar. And it ain't easy.
No,
but
it's not easy.
But you said
Try
something.
Getting your period for the first time and having no one to talk to about it and being like, my poor father, he's at the supermarket aisle calling me. He's calling me. He's like, wings? Do you need the one with wings? And I'm like, Dad, that's a pad. You know, I'm talking about a tampon. It was a nightmare, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I can imagine
the
Italian,
pizza
girl. Yeah. Hey, what's the sauce you got in your pants? Hey.
Oh God, trust me, there were so many awkward moments growing up.
He's like calling his sisters or whatever. He's like, hey, so Carolina, she got some bolognese in her pants. What the hell am I supposed to do here?
It's way too far and visual for me. But my point was that what happened to me was that I ended up in a lot of situations that were either and not my dad's fault, you know, as a teenager, were hard to control, and especially without a mother, and I ended up in a lot of kind of dangerous situations, and I really learned to fend for myself and defend myself and defend others who were not as strong as I am, right? So when I lived in New York City, like I dropped out of high school, I moved to New York City. I used to walk up and down the streets with my keys between my knuckles. Like I was a 17-year-old girl.
I used to do the same thing. Right? I still do the same thing.
Right? Okay.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. So you feel me. So and there were so many occasions when I needed to protect myself, right? I had some really bad encounters with some really scary people. And I think I definitely just built up, and I really learned, like, I can tell when people are fake. I can tell when people are the real deal. I can tell when we're butting heads because we're both strong women, or I can tell, and then I respect that. It's weird. Like with Lan, like I immediately respected her after the fact, right? It was weird. It was like, I know they're showing that it's like 3 and 4 episodes that we don't get along, which how they're doing that is brilliant. That's brilliant editing, because Lan and I will both tell you that we made up like pretty quickly after and have had like a mutual respect for each other and for the businesses we've built and just, all of that. So with me, like, I just don't take anybody's bullshit, and I'll call it out exactly how I feel. And what is so true to me all of a sudden is, like, if you look at Gordon Ramsay and you hear and you go back and you listen to the way he spoke to people and the way he talks to people and the way he says this is garbage or you are yucky or,
it's no different than what you do.
By the way, exactly. But because I'm a woman, so Gordon Ramsay does this and he's praised. He is put on a pedestal and he is Gordon fucking Ramsay, right? I do not even a smidgen of it. And I am a bitch or a mean girl. And it's such a sexist way to go about it. Do you know what I mean? Because ultimately, I'm not saying anything other than I think that, the scientist, the pharmacist, and the pizza girl selling, I think it's garbage, right? So
ouch.
I know, right? So I was
Ouch.
honest about it. And you know what? Gordon said the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm not concerned about, if I was truly like a mean person or somebody who couldn't get along well with others, my business wouldn't be in the position it's in. I wouldn't have built all the relationships that I have. I wouldn't have, we just tripled our sales. My business with every single partnership is so solid because there's no fakeness, right?
Because you're relationship based.
Right. All relationship based.
You're relationship based.
Right.
And that happens because you lost your mom at a
Yeah.
young age, and people don't know that about you.
Right.
And if you're listening or you're out there and you're judging Caroline or you're assuming something about her, you have to understand, unless you're a parent, you need to understand parenting is not easy.
Oh, God.
And when kids get older, if they don't have two parents,
Yeah.
they will stray off and they'll fucking get in trouble.
Yeah.
But you've done pretty well for yourself.
Thank you.
Because you have your own business.
Yeah.
And
I will say, though, Chris, it took me a long time to get here, and I love the idea of being able to tell the younger generation, don't go down the path that I did go down. I think I was trying to mask my sadness for so long. Like, when you lose a parent at a young age, there's like this like painful yearning that I've never felt in any other facet of life.
yeah.
Nothing ever like that, where there just be dreams or days you're just missing this person, your wedding, your first this, everything, it feels like pain. So you want to cover that pain, right? You want to mask that pain with, I went through this major phase of, my therapist called it fuck it mentality. Like, okay, you're suffering from fuck it mentality, where I just go fuck it and I just do whatever I want to mask the fact that I haven't healed from my childhood trauma, which is what I'm actually figuring out now in life. But I took a detour down party girl lane for about 20 years.
So did I.
And
I was a party girl.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
Luckily, I figured out how to pay my own way. I started DJing before anybody was really DJing. I was doing 2 nights a week, getting a couple grand a night. And then that's however many, that's like $4 grand a month. I'm able to get an apartment and like live modestly. And then it just grew from there. And then I got, Paris Hilton asked me to DJ her record release tours. So that's why we're traveling around the world together. I'm like hired help. You know what I
How old were
mean?
you at this point?
I was like 18, like,
Okay.
yeah, like 17, 18.
And that's admirable. You're paying your own way.
Right.
And people are assuming that you're a spoiled princess.
Right.
But what they don't realize is that you're a hardworking girl who's had everything stacked against you. And you've still overcome everything
Yeah.
to have some amazing pink hair.
Thanks.
This is great,
Thanks.
But you're a mom now.
Yeah.
You're a mom.
Yeah.
You have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know how important a mom is to a child's life.
Yeah.
Mother's Day
Yeah.
has to have a special meaning to you.
It does.
And you must love your daughter and want to give her stuff that you were never provided as a child. And that's probably instilled in you. How old is your daughter?
She's 8.
She's 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got an 8-year-old boy. He actually, yesterday he turned 9. But
So he's 9.
he's 9 now. Yeah, so he's not 8.
Happy birthday, Chris. Is
But Mother's Day must have a special meaning to you, and you
it does.
must understand. Because for me, growing up poor in a tumultuous household, where people think, oh, you know, he went to Ivy League schools. Oh, he's
Right.
great. He's polished, this and that. He's a nerd.
Right.
No, I grew up hard. You're molded by your environment as a child,
Right.
and that's what makes you who you are.
Right.
I wouldn't change my childhood for anything
Right.
because that's who I am. But I also want to provide my kids better so
Right.
that they don't have to go through what I went through.
Correct.
So for you probably are fueled by that, your experiences as a child,
Yeah.
and you want to be the best mom in the world. And Mother's Day for you probably is a special day.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it used to be the hardest day of the year, right? You go to school, everyone looks at you with sad eyes. They're like, how are you doing today? And I'm like, shut up. You know what I mean? And you really do. You start to build this protective wall. Mother's Day was the worst day. Always. We would spend it at a graveyard, staring at a stone, crying on a rock. You know what I mean? And then I stopped going to the graveyard because I just didn't want to believe that that's where she was, you know? And they did like, oh God, Catholics. Sorry if this is going to cause a big thing, but open casket to a 5-year-old, seeing her mother laying there, I think has damaged me in a lot of ways, which is something that's big in the Catholic community. And when I saw her laying there with this makeup that didn't look like hers, and I remember her fingernails, and I tried to reach in and grab her, and there's this really like
Because you're 5
sad
years old.
moment. Yeah, where I
Yeah.
see my beautiful mother sleeping there, and it's just, and that always played in my mind. And then thinking about her in the ground, and it just didn't work for me. So I just wanted to like figure out another way to process, and I definitely want to be cremated in my own time and like spread across the ocean or something, because I don't know, that messed with me for sure. But so as far as like moving on and like trying to do better than what I had for my daughter, absolutely. And one of the things that she won't need to have as many walls up as I do, right? Because I lived alone at 17. I was, it's a story that I'm telling, but there was a really bad man who I ended up in the crosshairs with when I was only 17 years old-ish. And Bella will never be in that position, right? So she doesn't my biggest thing is for her to be kind to everyone and be sweet to everyone, but also stand up for yourself. When the kids are already mean at school, I have taught her to stand up for herself. She doesn't do it as harshly as mommy does, but she's definitely learning. Instead of me saying, say this to them, I don't do that. Instead, when the kids are mean, I told her, just go find something and make it like the most fun thing ever. And then I promise you those kids are going to come running right back, right? And she came home and she was like, Mommy, it worked. They were so mean to me. They said they weren't going to talk to me today.
Yeah.
And you know how mean kids are, right? So I'm giving her these like really weird tools to like, deal with how hard it is, rather than what I had. My dad would, I watched him slam a couple faces on some cement in my day. You know what I mean? So that is how I grew up,
Yeah. And you've said a couple things here that I want to touch on. I know what it's like to have a daughter.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys and I got 1 daughter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The boys could go disappear, and I'm like, they'll come back. They're like cats. I'm not afraid of it.
Right.
My daughter walks away. I got eyes on her all the time.
Right.
Like, we were at a restaurant last night, and she went to go walk and sit next to a guy. I'm staring at her the whole time to make sure she's okay. Girls have it harder than boys.
Without a doubt.
And they will be taken advantage of easier than boys.
Without
right?
a doubt.
Especially small girls. And so there's always that fear.
Yeah.
Right? And men will pry on that.
Yeah.
And you went through some certain things in your life that molded you the way that you are and made you tough. Do you think, and you said it, my daughter is not going to have to go through that.
Right.
Do you think your daughter is going to be softer than you?
Absolutely, without a doubt. She already is softer than me. Already, yeah, without a doubt, because she has protection. She has a mother. Mothers teach you the soft side, right? Like, my dad did the best he could, but I always wondered what it would be like. And sure, I do love who I am. I love that I'm aware of my issues. I love that I'm always working on them. I love that I stand up for myself, but I also love that, you know, I will look at myself. You know, when some of these haters reach out to me and spew hate all over my page, I actually talk back to some of them. And I'm like, hey, in a nice way, talk back. I mean, I'm like, hey, guys, like, totally feel you, get where you're coming from. You know, spend some more time on my page and maybe you'll get to know me a little better. You know, like, it is what it is. And some people have written back and been like, wow, like, what a great way to talk to a hater. And like, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, I don't really think of you as a hater. You're getting the story you're getting. And
here's the thing. Here's my perspective on it. Because there are people on the internet saying shit like, you know, they're so misinformed about what Smart Cups is or about who the fuck I am.
Right.
I take a step back and I'm like, if you have that time to go on the internet and spew hate like that, you yourself have to be in a very dark place.
Right. And
you
also
have to be a very unhappy place.
Right.
And for me to sit back and then get sucked into that dark place, no. I kind of have to take a step back and go have empathy towards those people and say, what is that person going through and why did they take time out of their days to say that I'm a bald zero with a landing strip haircut?
You know what?
I'm a little bitter. I'm sorry.
You know what helped me is Brene Brown, somebody who I just really love and look up to. She made this point. She was like, do you think everybody is doing the best they can with the tools they were taught? And once I wrapped my head around that yes, they are. I believe that everybody is. It kind of freed me from this, like, it almost makes me sad for them that is the best they can do today, is feel bad enough about themselves that they want to reach out to somebody they don't know and tell them how much they hate them or they're ugly or whatever it is. Because never in my life have I gone to somebody's page and said I didn't like them, ever. I just don't associate with them. I just don't follow them or whatever it is, you know? So it is an interesting world of people who will go out of their way. I've gone out of my way to tell people I love them or admire them, absolutely. But definitely never, ever, as bad as you guys want to say I am, I've never gone to anybody's page to say, like, you suck and you're ugly and you know, whatever it is. So I almost feel bad for them.
Come on, Caroline, live a little.
Well, what they don't realize that they're doing, like you said, being the most talked about person on the show, if you really hate me, what you should do is just
ignore me.
Yeah. Because then I'll go away. But you know what's funny is when everybody is talking about you, some people see the chatter and the talk and they go, you know, like I said, everybody wants to see the car accident. They want to see the big crazy thing. You know, that's why traffic slows and they're all looking. And that's why the focus of the show is some of the drama, right? Because they know that's going to get ratings. But what that does is people see the chatter and then they're going to go check me out, right? And now the people that check me out see who I really am and they love it. And thank you for sending them my way by talking shit. So bring
all
it on, baby.
So all those people on the internet saying, I'm never going to buy Pizza Girl, I hope her company goes down.
Yeah.
They're miserable fucks, and your company is actually thriving.
Also, thank you very much. It absolutely is. And have you ever looked at those people's pages who are saying that stuff?
Oh, it's cat memes.
Yeah, it's just nothing. So it's like,
it's cat memes.
I definitely...
I have a rule of thumb.
I don't take offense from somebody who doesn't do anything themselves.
I have a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If you're a miserable fuck on the internet, chances are, and I go to your page, there's a picture of a cat, you are fucking crazy. All right? You are fucking out of your mind. I will fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your cat memes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like the cat shit. If you look at all the haters on the internet,
It's-
they all have pictures of cats on their profile. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Tiger King is real, and that is a real fucking condition.
Right. And what they don't understand is that it makes them look bad. Like by, you know, you're basically doing exactly what you're accusing me of doing
Like,
to me. Like, wait, you're accusing me of being a bitch, and then you just came to my page to tell me that I'm a bitch and this and that, when I was actually like in a competition, fighting for a win, being told you have 5 minutes left, let's hurry it up and stand up for yourself, and if you don't, you're out.
That's
okay,
right.
What are you guys coming to my page for to tell me that?
No,
are
because-
you fighting for Gordon Ramsay's investment
No,
right now?
these people that are criticizing you,
Right.
they're just reacting miserably.
Right.
But honestly, these people, they're like, I hate Caroline. She's such a bitch. She's so mean. You know what? I'm going to get back at her. Let me be the same way she is. Let me be mean to her on the internet so everybody in the world can know that I'm the fucking same thing that I fucking claim I hate.
Right. It's so bizarre. It's quite funny. You know what I mean? And I'm actually like not just attacking somebody for the sake of attacking them. I said, well, when it comes to certain people on the show, I don't like the way you behave. I'm going to let you know. When it comes to a project or something I didn't like, and now we have to turn it in and I've got to take responsibility for it, I'm going to let you know. You know what I mean? So if that's the worst of me and what you can find on me, then fine. And if all of you guys, and honestly, I've really learned to like just be zen with it. Like my sales at Pizza Girl have tripled in revenue in the past year. We are being asked to go into every major supermarket.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
we just moved to a massive facility, and I know we have the best product. And that's the funny thing. It's like when people, I have had to, without a doubt, push this whole thing up the mountain because of my reputation, because of the party girl thing. People are like, well, this is just some novelty sauce, right? She's just some party girl who was on the hills and whatever. But once they try it and then they realize I grew up in it, and there actually is like this authentic story. So I'll tell you, I was just at this big food show last week in Chicago, and there's this guy. It's a market that I've been wanting to get for a long time, and you know, it's a saturated market, the sauce industry. It's everybody told me don't go into it. You're insane. You're going up against these giants. They have so much money. They can pay for all the shelf space, the end caps, blah, blah, blah. They're going to crush you. And of course, knowing me, I go, bring it on, because I'm sick, right? So I'm like, yes, that fuels my fire because I'm insane.
Because they told you couldn't
They
do
told
it,
me I
that you
couldn't
shouldn't
do
do
it,
it,
and I
and you
shouldn't
just
do
said because
it,
you're
and I
a
said
rebel.
yes. Yeah, exactly.
You're a rebel.
So I see the rep from the supermarket walking by. He's about to walk by my booth, and I go, here I go. My business partner got so freaked out because she was like, oh my God, you're really going to do this? Like, he said no 3 times. I was like, okay. Hey, what's up? We got to talk. You haven't tried my sauce yet. You're saying no, because you haven't tried it yet, blah, blah, blah. And I totally got in his face. I literally jumped out of the booth like a crazy person, like y'all know I am. And I got the sauce in his damn mouth. And he goes, shit. He was literally pissed off. It was so good.
He was pissed off that he liked it.
He looked at his buddy and he goes, oh, it's better than Rayo's. And he gave me the stores right there on the spot. That's how I got Erewhon. That's how I got Whole Foods. That's how I got all of the stores, Bristol Farms, and growing. Yeah. That's
awesome.
So,
That's an awesome story.
Yeah. Tell me I can't do something. Watch me do it.
I can tell you can't do something.
Be careful. I'll figure it out.
Sit in a room with Megan and Lan and not get into an argument.
I think, well, I could definitely do it with Lan, without a doubt. Lan and I talk all the time.
There's definitely a misconception about you, and hearing you talk and hear your story, I'm like, damn, dude, Caroline got me stopped in my tracks. Like, it's super cool. And I think that, you know, anybody who looks at you and sees this thing, I even believe it. We're sitting, you know, when we first found out who these contestants were, we're in the hotel of the show. I was like, holy shit, guys, this party girl, Paris Hilton lady, and I'm texting my friends. I'm like, she's super famous. I was so, like, just jaded by your personality. And then, you know, getting to interact with you over the course of a few weeks, I told you multiple times, I said, you remind me of my mom. Like, you smile like my mom. And I was like, it throws me off because you guys have a lot of the same tendencies. Your upbringing, you know, you guys struggled, but you're both fucking dogs, dude. Like, you guys work, and I have a lot of respect for you and people like that. You know, I think growing up, I did a similar thing where I would throw walls up because I would get in fights with my mom. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to realize that, like, people can have their differences. You can still have respect for them. And I've learned that, like, bashing my mom is not what's going to get me what I want.
Right.
It's like respecting the person, understanding where they're coming from, because they have their own story. And so hearing your story, you're kind of crushing my expectations. It's really cool.
You know, that is a funny thing, right? It's like everybody's suffering. Everybody has something. Everybody came from somewhere. And when you start to look at the world like that, like, yes, I am rough around the edges. It's like in everybody. And I will say my whole life, people have either loved me or hated me. There is no in between. And I'm totally okay with that.
I'm lukewarm.
You know what I Okay, you're the first. You're the first lukewarm.
I'm neutral.
You love me, Chris. Whatever. I definitely had a bond with both of you throughout the whole show. I think anyway. I mean, I just found you both to be inspiring in two totally different ways. You know, even the fact that you guys are working together now is super cool to see. You know, and the fact that you've made this journey, Aaron, like out here, and you're trying to figure your shit out at this age. You're like the person that I literally want to tell, don't go down the path I went down. It's not cool to be cool. What's cool is to figure your shit out and to start your work early in life. And you're going to have failures. I've had a million. And once you accept who you truly are and you put that into your product and your business, everything's going to come together. And the fact that you're doing it this young is like, it makes me emotional because I wasted 20 years of my life. And I'm so impressed with you.
Well, look at it. I mean, Aaron's having a Freudian moment. He thinks you're his mom, and I'm like his acting father here.
No.
So he's in between his two parents at the moment.
Get grounded.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No.
But just don't piss me off,
But
okay? Because then you'll be right in your room.
No, that's why I am.
Yeah.
It's almost like we got to touch on this too, because as much shit as you're getting, the next person who's getting just as much shit is this guy.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it, to be honest.
If you're
I'm too busy. No.
yeah, exactly. If you're
what's going on?
Well, no, because if you're on the fucking internet, you're watching the show, and they're getting pissed off at you, and then they're getting pissed off at you. I sit back and I go,
how can they get pissed off?
How can they get pissed off at him? He's 20 years old, fucking crushing it.
So the only thing I know that was probably the big thing was the fish, right?
Right.
That was the big thing.
Oh boy, the fish.
The kicking of the fish.
Miss Caroline, the vegan.
support
I
for
don't
the
want a fish.
I didn't want to hurt them. I couldn't, honestly, and I'm being totally honest. Seeing a fish, I've never gone fishing in my life, right? But seeing it dangling there and flopping with a thing in its mouth, that's
You're
not my
Italian.
jam.
Every holiday they make big like seafood dinners.
Oh, I eat it now. I was a vegan for 7 years because of
hypocrisy.
Just because I don't want to physically. You're right. I agree. Actually, totally agree. I totally agree. I now eat fish. I don't kill it. I don't kill it though, and I think that is lame, right? I think that you should be able to kill what you eat. I personally can't do it because I struggle so badly with it.
Yeah.
And I do. I try to look the other way and eat meat. You know what happened was I was a vegan for 6 years, slowly went to vegetarianism, got pregnant,
and then you
smelt the fried chicken at Whole Foods. And I was literally like the cartoon character that followed the scent to the fried chicken, right? I have my brand new car. I'm on Sunset. I have this bag of fried chicken. I'm like, no one's going to know. It's just me and the chicken. And I open the bag and I start eating the chicken and I have the window down and I'm going, oh my God. Like, what have I been missing? Like, I was screaming, oh my God, like I'm having an orgasm with this bag of chicken on Sunset. I'm throwing chicken bones out the window. And ever since then, I've been eating meat, but I've been ashamed of it.
And this is why you're such great friends with Luther. He reminds you of
That's
the orgasm in
why
the car.
you and Luther got along so well, is because he took you back to your pregnancy when you defaulted on your veganism.
Yes,
Luther, the
exactly.
chicken.
Yeah,
exactly.
Luther. Now it all makes sense. I got this visual of you just pregnant in the car with pink hair, just with a bucket of chicken going, what the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah. No,
Don't
literally.
judge me. It's delicious. I'm pregnant.
Yes, I remember this car that came up next to me, and I just remember thinking, what is this guy thinking right now? I'm going, oh my God. And I'm throwing chicken bones out
Let
the
me ask you a
window
question.
on Sunset.
How long did you feel guilty for after that? How long did you feel guilty?
A while, because I had to hide it.
I'm looking in your eyes. You were like hiding like chicken underneath like your pillow underneath the bed.
It was
just
very
being like,
creepy.
no one can know that I'm eating
totally
meat.
one of those people that was like a full-blown vegan that physically couldn't.
Because
not
what
be
happens
anymore.
when you become a vegan? You start collecting vegan friends.
Right, and
Did they start smelling the chicken on your
guys,
breath?
my ex-husband was a big. He played in bands that were like sponsored by PETA. Okay, not only that, Alicia Silverstone was at my wedding, and she's like the biggest vegan person on the planet. You guys, she just sent me a voice note. Can I play it for you?
Yeah.
She literally just sent me a voice note the other day.
I love Clueless.
Okay, here we go. Literally, this was the other day.
So you're trying to hide chicken breath from Alicia Silverstone.
Correct.
At your wedding.
Look at all of our voice notes, right? She just sends this the other day.
Hi there, I'm at the grocery store and I see all of your Pizza Girl pasta stuff, which makes me happy, so I'm buying it. But do you think I should, I always get the marinara. Should I get the arrabbiata or the vodka or just stick with marinara?
So let me tell you when I say that I have this whole vegan troop of homies, right? And everybody loves the sauce. But then she's talking about the vodka, and the vodka has a little organic cream in it, right? So I sent her this message back, and I'm all like, so it has organic cream in it, but wait, here's my message back where I'm like very trying to please her, right?
So if you like spicy, then you'll love the arrabbiata, but the vodka does have a little organic cream in it, and I know you don't do dairy. I am looking to find a good alternative
See?
for my next sauce.
I need to find like
if
an
you have
almond
one
alternative.
that you really love that actually tastes great, like
Anyway, I'm not going to go into my trying to figure out this whole vegan thing right now, but trust me, you grow up in LA. There's a lot of vegans around you, but also for me, it's about the animals, right? Like I personally love animals way more than I love people, right? No.
So what you're saying is that if Food Stars was Animal Farm,
I would have gotten along with everybody.
you would have gotten along with everybody. Come over here, you little oinker. Look
Come here, let me rub your little face and scratch your belly.
I just think it's so funny, this thought of you hiding meat breath from your vegan friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, is Caroline on drugs? She's acting really weird.
She's acting very
No,
strange.
she went to McDonald's earlier and she had a Happy Meal.
See, that
she
I
had a 6-piece
will
chicken
never
nugget.
do. So I will say this. So I am a snob when it comes to food, and I will not eat fast food. The closest thing to fast food I will do is In-N-Out, which we all did together, which was super fun.
Oh yeah, that was a cool experience.
That was fun.
We learned a lot on that trip.
What?
We learned a lot on that trip.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just try to stay away from bad food in general. So my whole outlook on food right now is try to be, grass-fed, clean, organic, because all the other stuff is causing so much cancer. And
Well,
it's like direct links to cancer in a lot of ways.
it's funny because you and my wife share a lot of similarities, because I'll open up my fridge. Everything's gluten-free, organic. We've got like 5 different types of milk in the fridge.
Yeah.
I was lucky if I had one kind of real milk in my fridge.
Yeah.
Right? I grew up eating shit. And look at me. I'm fine. Maybe my height was stunted a little bit, but other than that, I'm good.
Well, I'll tell you something, right?
I'm a cockroach. And I think all the food allergies have come out more
Yeah.
because we're so scared of eating shit.
No, it's
Eat a
because there's so
GMO.
much-
They ain't going to kill you.
No, they do eventually. They hurt you. I promise.
They
So,
hurt
like,
me.
for instance, my dad,
Only Jurassic Park dinosaurs will kill you.
that is a good, well, they will kill you, right?
They will.
Yeah, they will.
I remember
kill you.
we're in the show. We're on the show, and you're talking about your love for animals, and I'm sitting in the van, just sick of your shit. I'm sorry. I'm just sick of your vegan bullshit. And I
Yeah.
turned around, and because for those of you that don't know, we would sit in a room and we'd watch movies because we weren't allowed to do certain talk or anything like that. So we put on a movie. So we watched all the Jurassic Parks as a cast. And I look at, you're talking about your love for fish and your love for this. and how much you love animals and you love them more than people. And I'm so sick of your shit. I turn around, I look at you, and I go, you would have fucking let those dinosaurs out free, wouldn't you? And you're like, well, yeah, because they're done. They'd fucking eat your daughter. And then you looked at me and you're like, yeah, they would, but they deserve to be free.
Can I tell you something? I'm also the girl that rescued a pit bull from the street, and then that pit bull killed my other dog.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was awful. And everybody told me to put him down. He was also quarantined on several occasions, and I did everything I could to keep that damn dog alive. So, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
All right, so then all you people that are saying Caroline's a bitch, she just gave you insight as to who she truly is. This pit bull that she rescued killed her real dog.
Yeah.
And then she like snuggled up with it and was like, no, as the pit bull is trying to fucking kill her. That's all I see.
But I
while
will
you're
say,
eating a bucket of chicken.
But I will say I did finally find a home for the pit bull when I had my baby, because that's when you just
you have
Draw
to
the
separate.
draw
it.
that line. Yeah, that line needs to be
So
super
you see,
solid. Yeah.
You do love a human being more than you
Yes.
love animals. You love your daughter more than you love that pit bull.
Absolutely,
There you
without a
go.
doubt. Yeah. But I do love, my dad used to call me Ellie Mae Clampett when I was little. So I don't know if anybody knows who that is, because you're all too young. Look at you. You have no idea. But that's from the Beverly Hillbillies. So
Yeah.
I grew up on all that stuff, like all the old school I Love Lucy and Bewitched and all that stuff. Anyway, he called me Ellie Mae Clampett because she just loved animals and had animals around her all the time. And that was me. You guys, I had a Chinese water dragon growing up. I had a iguana. I had a tortoise. I had a snake. I've had so many different, kind of mice, and I've had every kind of animal you could possibly have in your house. Birds. I've had, all kinds of different dogs and cats. And
It's so interesting. So, Vi, would you say that you have this affinity for animals because you didn't feel you could connect to people as well as you could connect to animals?
maybe, yeah. They just love you no matter what.
I think it's just interesting because when I was younger, I literally had like a fucking zoo. People would come over to like see my zoo of all the different reptiles and different birds. Like, I love the birds.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it was, and why I got so into, like, I was going to go to college for wildlife ecology because I just felt there was a piece to animals and nature that there wasn't in psycho-ass humans in this world.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You're right. And that's how I feel too. What's sad is my cat also ate my bird. When you have like an ecosystem in your house, it just kind of sometimes ends in gore and sadness as well.
I'm going to reveal something. I'm
Okay.
not an animal person.
Okay.
I have dissected probably every kind of animal that's in existence,
Ugh,
right?
You're a sick scientist.
From starting at like age 12, right? By 14, I had killed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lab mice.
Oh my God. See, I would have let the lab mice free. I would have.
And this
I
is
wanted
going to be
let the fish
terrible,
free.
but I'm an asshole 16-year-old in a lab
Don't even tell me that you did some weird shit.
at a college. So hold on.
Okay.
Don't judge me.
Okay. I just mean, like, I can't hear that
We've
you,
all
like,
made
hurt.
we've all made our mistakes in life.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right. And
Yeah.
so this is my mistake.
Okay.
I wasn't a partier. I wasn't a partier. I wasn't. I never did drugs. I never drank
I thought you said
as
you
a
were a
kid.
party girl.
That was me fucking around.
Oh.
Not really a party girl.
So you're just a liar.
Oh shit. You're No, what I am is being facetious.
Yeah,
And there's
okay.
tongue in cheek.
Okay.
I'm 16 years old. There's a girl in my lab that I want to get her attention. She's older. She's like maybe 3-4 years older than me. We're dissecting a rat. I don't know how to get girls' attention. So I pull out the intestines of the rat and I start jumping rope in the lab with the rat intestines.
That's not true.
It is. And the TA in there was so appalled, and I got everybody's attention. I was like, oh, they were like, get out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but
That's
it got me
disgusting.
attention, but it got me the wrong type of attention. However, I will say this. I'm not an animal person.
Clearly.
My kids, I have 3 kids, they've begged me for years for a dog. Begged me. And I'm always like, no. If you want a dog, when you're 18, 21, and you leave the house, you can go buy your own dog.
You're one of those dads.
And that's it. Finally, my wife guilted me.
Good.
We
Good,
got them a
good,
dog
good.
for Christmas. We got a golden doodle as a Christmas gift.
Cute.
My oldest son begged me. He actually did a PowerPoint presentation giving me all, and I
think I saw this. Did you guys post this or something?
No, I don't think I did, but he, like a year ago, he did a PowerPoint presentation on the benefits of having a dog, how it would improve our quality of life. And I was so impressed, I caved in to my wife based on his PowerPoint presentation. And I said, you know what? He had the initiative to go out of his way to do that. All right, that looks good. Now, we get the dog. Nobody wants to take care of the dog. The kids realize that we're not really dog people. And we got a puppy.
Yeah.
So my wife starts talking about, hey, let's give the dog to a proper home or stuff like that. Now, we take great care of the dog. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I, for whatever reason, get this and I called Owen. I was telling him yesterday. I was walking the dog yesterday. This is like 2 weeks ago. I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't want to get rid of this dog. I look in her eyes and I feel bad for it. She loves us. And I love it too. And I hate myself for this bullshit now. I hate myself. Like
So do you have the dog? Is this a happy ending?
Yeah, we have the dog. I pet her. I feed her. I take her on walks. And
good. You need
I hate it, but
dog.
Her name's Stella.
Oh, that's such a cute name.
Stella.
I love it. Stella.
Yeah, because they were like, what are we going to call the dog? This is Christmas Day. What are we going to call the dog? They're coming up with all these fucking names. And I'm like, call it Stella, because I'm going to be yelling the fucking name all the time, like Marlon Brando. Yeah. Stella! But I love the dog now. I never thought in a million years I would be emotionally attached to a creature. Wow. And here I am.
I'm shocked because 2 weeks ago you said it was gone.
I did.
And I'm hearing this total 180 of a perspective from you.
Which shows you that people can change.
Yes, true.
Very much so.
Yeah, when you feel safe and have a good environment around you and you have the time to like evolve as a human.
Trust me. I have 3 kids and I'm married. I never feel safe or protected. I feel like there are little dinosaurs clawing at me at all times. They're like, daddy, 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 shut the fuck up. Anyway, I digress.
What lucky children.
I'd be terrified if you were my father. You scare me sometimes. All right, so
He basically is, though.
I know,
realize that.
by choice. Good thing is he only shows up like 2 or 3 days out of the week here, so I am fatherless for the rest of the week.
I'm like an absentee father.
So can I ask you?
Reminds me just like my real father.
Yeah.
Oh. No, it wasn't supposed to be sad. It was funny.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It was funny. Yeah.
Weird turn of events. I don't like that.
To me, that was sad.
No, it's life, man.
It is life.
All right, so enough of my daddy issues. We went into Pizza Girl a little bit, but I want to dive into it a little bit more.
Okay.
Where did the name for Pizza Girl come up?
Yeah, because Pizza
it's
Girl.
a pasta sauce.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yep.
Yeah, come on.
Yep,
it's a pasta sauce, but you named it Pizza Girl.
Once again, my friends, we're talking about it, aren't we?
You're misleading. You're misleading us.
Nope. So let me tell you something.
We feel misled.
Well, let me tell you something. So, of course, I've had this question a million bajillion times. So the Pizza Girl is because I was called Pizza Girl my whole life, and I just never lived it down. And it's sauce. It's a gravy, right? Mm-hmm. We had to put what kind of sauce on the packaging because people need to be marketed to, right? That's just how they buy things. But my grandmother, she would make a red sauce in the morning and use it for absolutely everything, like a gravy, pizza, pasta, chicken dishes, veggie dishes, you name it, right? Eggs and chorizo. You can do anything with these sauces. A great sauce is a great sauce. And to be honest, pizza sauce is kind of a marketing scam. So don't kill me for saying it, but it is. I mean, the best sauce, I just had a pizza truck out of Illinois use Pizza Girl on their pizza truck, and they said it's never tasted better. So these sauces are made by the Pizza Girl, but you can use them for whatever you damn well please, and it's going to be delicious.
Because I made a pizza with it, and it was fantastic, but then it threw me off because I was like, pasta sauce, what?
But it's just about what you were tasting, right? Like, how did you feel about it? Like, did it taste fantastic?
It was fantastic.
Exactly.
The vodka sauce is personally my favorite.
Yeah.
But no, it was delicious. And then I made some other just random munchie labs with it, and it was great. My mom loved it. My sister loved it. No shame in it at all. But
Thank you.
that's the I get that question, or I see that question a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? It's also been a weird positive for me. Again, it's been a contradiction that makes people never forget it, which is very interesting. I've had a couple people say, well, I just don't know. Actually, that one guy that I mentioned from the supermarket that wasn't taking it, that was one of his biggest issues. But I said, but you never forgot it, did you? And he was like, no, never. And it's because it's attached to a story. It's about a girl who grew up in a pizza shop. Yeah. And Pizza Girl, the name, will make more sense as we roll on because we have so much innovation coming out. It's very exciting. We have something very special coming out at the end of this summer. And we're going to be doing everything you can imagine under the Pizza Girl name. So
expanding like a product line in the future.
Yeah. So not just sauces, but, spices and kitchen equipment and all kinds of things under the Pizza Girl name. Yeah.
You see, one thing, while we're shooting the show, a lot of people couldn't get you. Right? They didn't get you. I got you. I got you because I married into a crazy Italian family that owned restaurants, that made Italian food. They own, my father-in-law is one of the best Italian cooks I've ever come across. And I get that lifestyle. Yeah, I get how they think. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. Growing up in the restaurant business.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You're
You deal with haters and people all day, every day, no matter what. Yeah. Think about a disgruntled customer or a person, you just learn to adapt.
And you grew up in Malibu, whereas my wife grew up in Orange County. Right. So it's kind of the same
very similar
fabric.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same kind of, you just were surrounded by a lot more celebrities.
Right.
Right. But my wife will tell me stories where people wanted to hang out with her just to get free food.
Yeah. Oh my God. You guys, you want to know the craziest stories?
It's the only reason I have friends.
That's right. Free food because they want all your snow cone stuff. So for me, so what would happen is I remember one time for my 18th birthday, Paris Hilton had my dad's pizza truck parked right outside her house. And so then the pizza thing became a thing at all the parties. And it was always like, let's get the pizza truck. Let's get, Caroline. Let's call. The other day, Diana Ross's son couldn't get us to deliver a pizza. So he goes to call me. And his mom, Diana Ross, stops him and goes, don't you dare. That is so spoiled of you. Don't you dare text the pizza girl because you can't get a delivery right now. You go and pick it up, boy. And he tells me this whole story. I was like, did you call me and then not call me? You know what I mean? Like, that was weird. He was like, yeah, so I wanted to hit you up but my mom was like, don't you dare. That's like, but so it was weird. So people would there's a couple times I went to some parties in Malibu and I was in my little brat phase of life. And I was like, I'd call the restaurant and I'd be like, I need 20 pizzas to this party right now. And other people would hear me do that at the party, and people started calling D'Amore's Pizza, pretending to be me, getting deliveries all over Malibu, my poor father. Yeah, it was so crazy. Wow. Like, I had to separate myself from the restaurant because I caused more problems than I helped when I was a teenager, for sure. I was delivering pizzas. I would deliver to Pepperdine, the college in Malibu, and the, cute older college boys would be like smoking weed and hanging out, and they would invite me and my girlfriend in, and then we'd all of a sudden be stoned, and there's like 3 other deliveries in the car.
And now you're eating the pizza, and you're like, sorry, Dad.
True. We've done that before too. Yeah, absolutely.
You're the worst pizza delivery person ever.
I agree. I said to my dad, I said, I don't want to deliver pizzas, but I had to. That was my job. I got better at it when I wasn't
funny,
stoned.
Caroline. Yeah. Going to deliver pizzas, you get stoned, and then you eat the pizzas.
Yeah, and then I'd have to go back and get another one and make some excuse for what happened.
College, you didn't go to college.
You guys, my last completed grade was 9th grade.
Really? Mm-hmm. You didn't graduate high school?
High school dropout.
You're a high school dropout.
See,
Yeah.
neither did my mom, man. You just keep reinforcing this theory. I'm getting scared.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. High school dropout.
So, like, did you ever take algebra?
I couldn't. I don't know what I'm gonna do when my daughter needs help.
How
in
many
school.
ounces is in that pizza jar sauce?
24.
Are you
Don't,
sure?
don't mess with me. I know my business.
All right,
thing
so
I do
she
know
knows her
is my
business.
business. Yeah.
Don't fuck with
Yeah.
Caroline.
One
She knows her
thing
business.
I know is my business, and I know it in and out, all around, every which way. I'm not just a person who put her face on a brand and thinks it's going to do well. Like, I am in every pitch meeting, every development session, every time we're making a new batch of sauce. I'm there with the.
You're in the factory.
I'm in the factory.
I saw the fucking video.
Oh my God, with that
the
hideous
goggles,
outfit.
The
Yeah.
whole like hazard suit going on.
Oh yeah, testing every batch, making sure it's perfect, the viscosity and how it just slowly slides off the spoon. I mean, there's so much that you need to just be
So you're
involved
very involved. You're not just a face.
in. No, God no. I do absolutely. I do. Well, when you're an entrepreneur and you're in
Right.
the beginning stages of your business, like anyone will tell you, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
You have to have your hands in everything. And eventually that shifts and changes. And I'm actually in a big shift right now where we're bringing on some more people. And, you know, I have these two incredible partners and we're starting to talk to, you know, new business
What did it go
partners.
like? So you're starting up Pizza Girl. Where was that switch that was like, I want to start the Pizza Girl sauce? Like, where were you at in life? How long ago did you start it?
Truthfully, I started it about 4 years ago.
So not that long ago.
Not that long ago. I've been thinking about it for years.
Mhm.
But the truth is, I wanted to do everything I knew I was capable of for D'Amore's Pizza, for my dad's restaurant, that truthfully he just wasn't capable of, which was scaling it to a level beyond the store. He's an Italian guy who loves just sitting in his store and doesn't want anybody to tell him what to do. You know what I mean? You
Right.
know that guy, right? Who's like wants to sit in the back, wants to talk to all the customers, wants to do all of that. But when I come in with my like knowledge for social media and, you know, getting us big catering jobs, you know, for huge events, he's looking at me like I'm crazy. Right? Like, I got us massive events. And I started bringing in a lot of PR for the restaurant, and we were expanding, and I was finding locations. And my dad's wife and I battled a bit. And that's kind of like, okay, because we get along now, but we definitely battled a bit. And I just was never going to be able to do what I wanted to do for D'Amore's. Like, these labels would say D'Amore's if I was allowed to do what I wanted to do with the family business, but I was told no. So Pizza Girl ultimately was an FU to my family to show them that I was actually capable of doing what I'd always said I was capable of. But because, similarly to everybody out there, because of my wild party girl days, my dad didn't take me seriously. But it came to a point where I was like, listen, I'm a grown up, I have a child, like, I need to prove myself and I can do this. And when he said no, I was like, watch me. And now my dad is so proud of me. He's like just over the moon. It was a struggle for a while there. But now he's selling my sauces at D'Amore's. He's telling everybody about it. He's so happy, you know, just to keep the family, you know, legacy going on a whole nother channel.
That's a great story.
Thank you.
And that provides a layer to who you are and what you do that I think people need to know, because that's admirable. I mean,
Thank you.
that's cool, because I mean, that we share that in common. I think
Yeah.
you have the same shit in you. Like, you either have that or
Yeah.
you don't in life.
And that's the entrepreneurial spirit, right? Like, you don't need a college education. And I will say, Chris, like, I was nervous. Like, I was like, besides you did you go to college? No. Okay, yeah. So besides you, like, I was up against all these people like you who were like graduating. Where'd you graduate from at like 12? I mean, you know, like,
the story gets crazier and crazier every time it gets repeated.
yeah,
Right now.
I mean, come on. So what I'm saying is like the high school dropout over here, like, I just have to be scrappy, street smart, and rely on the ability to think quickly on my toes and believe in my brand and, you know, just do it that route.
But I will say this, though. Some of the dumbest people I've ever met in my life are on the campuses of Harvard, Princeton, Yale,
Wow.
Brown. And like, I'll tell you this story. Like, people look at me, like, you assumed, oh, there was Chris. He graduated from so-and-so.
Right.
You know, he's really smart, book smart, but I'm going to outwit him with my street smarts. And I was like,
You have it all, though. You
but
do.
like, I'm more street smart than I am book smart.
Right.
I remember, and my roommate called me the other day from Cornell. My roommate and I were sitting on the steps on campus, and I go, look at all these idiots walking around with their backpacks. They're like lemmings. They're just walking around. And he's like, no, they're all really smart. And I was like, no, they're not. He's like, oh, how are you going to prove it? I go, watch this. So I get up. I start walking up to random kids walking through campus. And I go, excuse me, sir, I'm the wallet inspector. I'm on campus just inspecting people's wallets. Can I see your wallet for a second? And these Cornell students would go into their pockets and hand me their wallets, allowing me to inspect their wallets. And I'd be like, okay, thank you. And one of the kids I took $1 from, and I looked at my roommate. My roommate's in tears. I probably did this like 10, 20 times. My roommate's in tears. And I felt bad for one kid, and I ran back to him, and I was like, here's your $1 back. Don't give your wallet to anybody. The life lesson. I went back, and my roommate looks at me. He's like, okay, you proved your fucking point. Okay? You proved your fucking point. I go, yeah, because there's a difference. These people are going to go into the real world. No matter how smart you are, they're going to get eaten alive.
Yeah.
Eaten fucking alive by some hustler who will fucking spin them every which way.
Yeah.
And so, like, people perceive you a certain way. People perceive me a certain way.
Right. That makes
And then
sense.
when people get to know me, they're kind of like, oh shit, like he's not just a goofy scientist guy, mad scientist.
You know what? I guess that's the name of the whole story here, right? Like, you could judge Aaron for being from a small town, not knowing much, how did he even get on this show type thing. But honestly, when you get to know the people, you realize there's so much more to them than just layers to everybody.
Yeah.
And Aaron, I gotta say, like, the kids really have someone to look up to right now, because
That's what I've gotten a lot. And,
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, no matter what kind of experience I do or don't have, that's, like, why I do everything that I do, especially at this age. And it's like, you hound it down my throat. Everybody does. They're like, man, I wish I was, had the smarts that you did when I was your age.
That's
huge. So it's stuff like that. It's like, well, if I can just be that example for Owen's kid, for Chris's kids. Chris's son, Vito, is like, I swear thinks I'm a superstar or something.
Yeah.
And it's
You
cool.
are.
It's cool to me. And sometimes I battle with myself because I'm like, I feel like all my friends are like 12. They're all like middle school age kids. But at the end of the day, it's because they look up to me. And to me, that's admirable. And I think that when I get older, I will appreciate that. I think my future kids will appreciate that. And I can't be mad at it.
No.
It's weird now. It puts me in a
cool.
weird spot because it's hard to relate to others my age, because most people at my age are either already having kids or in their party phase.
Right.
And I'm just like, nah, fuck both of those.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to do something different.
Yeah, you're trying to build a life that will provide you stability for the rest of your life, and that's so admirable.
And I think it'll be a cool story to tell. And I've already built like a really cool network over the last few years since I've graduated high school.
You know what? And you're doing the best you can. And you're doing a damn good job. So,
I appreciate that.
He
you
is.
got it. Yeah, you all are.
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking schmuck.
Yeah, no, you're the self-deprecating one. But let me tell you, you are you for a reason. You have this incredible building that we're standing in right now for a reason, and you're building something that could change the future. So
the reason is I don't take no for an answer.
Right, that helps.
I do sometimes. There's Owen nodding his head. I don't take no for an answer most times. And if I say I'm going to do something, I always do what I say.
Yeah.
There's Owen nodding his head. There's no one on this planet that knows me better than that fucker sitting over there. And he knows that if I say I'm going to do something, I will fucking do it, even if it kills me.
And that's important. Like, being true to your word is important. And I'm the same way. Like, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I show up.
I tell my wife, I have an idea. I'm going to print alcohol in a cup. And she looked at me like I was crazy, like I had a penis.
Where are these cups? I need all of these cups.
They're all over this building. But like, you take something from idea and you build it, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, it's been a process here,
Yeah.
and it hasn't been easy.
No.
And one day people are going to read about it and they're like, oh, it's an overnight success. And people aren't going to know all the little struggles to get to where each one of us is going in life, right?
Isn't that crazy? It's
And
like a 10 to 15, sometimes 20-year
cycle.
overnight success.
Overnight success. So tell us, so like at Smart Cups, you know, we've had to scale, right?
Yeah.
And it's been painful to scale
Right.
because we're developing a technology that's never existed before. So we've never, there's nothing off the shelf. Like you just can't go to an equipment manufacturer and say, hey,
I'm
you
having
know,
a party. Let
give
me
me
get all
this.
these
Yeah,
cups
let me get this and
fill
this
them
and that,
with
right?
water.
We actually had to invent it all.
Right.
And so for you, so our path struggles, but for you to scale, like you go from home
Yep.
to now mass manufacturing. Talk
Yeah.
about that struggle.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you're doing something that nobody's doing, right? I'm doing something that a shitload of people are doing, right? So there's good and bad in both, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to spend a ton of money educating the market on what the fuck Smart Cups is. One question I get a lot is, I still don't get it. What is it? I've gone to his page. I still don't get it. That's the question I know that you've been dealing with, and which is why you went on the show to
Yeah.
have that explained more. With me, it's like, okay, well, what's the difference between yours and the 50 other sauces
And
that are out there?
doesn't that irritate you?
It used to, but all they have to do is open the jar and taste it, and then you can tell what the difference is. The difference is that I'm not going to cheapen my quality for my margin, which is scary for investors to hear, but it's true because I care so much about it. I love it so much that we're going to continue to make it in these kettles, no matter how big we have to scale, no matter how many facilities I have to get, because it tastes better when you saute the ingredients. You have to pay for cook time, okay?
Yep.
So a lot of these companies, what they're doing is they just take all of their ingredients, they load it into the cooker, they heat it up to the regulated amount of heat, get it out quick, and get it in the jars, right? Because that's cheaper, but it tastes like shit. It can be organic and still have all the good qualities of no sugar added, but there's no taste. Like my grandmother's sauce, it cooked all day long. So you have to really, what I do is I put love into every jar. I really care about every single jar, and you can tell when you taste it. So it is hard. It's hard to be like, well, what's the difference and what's better? But you won't know until you try it. And honestly, a lot of people are buying this sauce right now because they want to hate it. And then they go, shit. I can't tell you how many DMs I'm getting of people who have bought the sauce because they hate me. And for some reason, it led them to the supermarket to buy Pizza Girl. And then they try it. And then they reach out and they're like, I really wanted to hate it. I really wanted it to be bad. And then it's great.
It's
so
good.
You know what? I have yet to taste. I'm glad that you brought your sauce.
Can't believe that. Here you
Because
go.
I have yet to taste it, and I'm going to taste it.
Should you just dip your finger in it right now?
That's right. Yeah.
Do it. Which
Give
one?
it.
Vodka?
Yeah, yeah. Why not?
Shake it.
Shake it?
Well, yeah, because there's all different. When you use the
shake weight.
cream and everything.
It's a shake weight,
it's a
everybody.
shaker.
Yeah.
There you go. You're good.
Pizza girl.
Oh my God.
All right, here we go.
Listen to that pop.
Ooh. Moment of truth.
Right off the top.
That's actually really good.
It's good shit.
Have you had it before?
Yeah. She sent me some right after we got back from the show, and I cooked a bunch of different food with it and made some
Why didn't you
ridiculous videos.
send me some?
I don't know.
Because
He
you
was
weren't
doing.
making videos.
He was doing
then.
his Munchie Lab videos, and I was like, I'm a genius marketer. I was like, let me get this kid with all these followers my sauce and see what he comes up with.
And I slapped myself in the face with a tenderloin.
Yeah, it was awesome. People loved it.
That's really good.
Yeah, wait till you try it on your pasta. Or, with chicken and veggies, or,
It's only 100 calories per half a cup.
it's really one of the best. And you can understand all my ingredients.
Is there sugar in it?
0 added sugars in any Pizza Girl products.
Really?
Yeah. All organic ingredients, sea salt, extra virgin olive oil, only the best ingredients. And you compare my label to your favorite sauce, I promise you it's better.
It's colorful. It's eye-catching. Like, the colors
Thank
are
you.
different than your typical
Right.
sauce, and I think, yeah, like you say,
It's normally the
eye-catching.
reds and the greens and
right.
I was like, everyone's like, you're crazy. You're putting pink on your pasta sauce. I was like, yeah.
No, but
you
it
know what?
stands
I'm an
out.
Italian, but I'm an
Yeah.
Italian
It's
from
branding,
Malibu.
and that's another big way you stand out.
Yeah, right.
No,
It
it's
stands
good.
out, and same with the name Pizza Girl. Once people figure out what it is, then yeah.
No,
the
it's
name.
really good. I'm gonna take these home and I'm gonna see
too.
how it. You know what I'm gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna bring these 2 bottles of sauce back to the house and I'm gonna pretend like I cooked
You can do that with
and
Pizza Girl.
made sauce from scratch, and I'm gonna surprise everybody in my family and see how they react. And they're
Great.
gonna be like, "Dad, this is delicious."
They're gonna be
think
blown
this
away.
is
You
so
need to film
good.
that for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do.
Okay, good.
All right, so business is booming. You've bootstrapped this stuff
Yep.
to the point that you're at now. You're in mass manufacturing. You can find it. Are you almost nationwide, or where can you
So
find
yeah,
it?
we're
really?
slowly growing across the country right now. We're in Texas at Central Market. We're in Seattle at Town and Country. We're in Chicago at Fresh Time and Sendix. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm gonna give a little tip to CPG people out there right now, because a lot of people think you need to be at the finish line immediately to be
Right.
successful. But I'm watching a lot of these companies and I'm going through all the data, and a lot of these companies are they're getting some funding, they're scaling across the country, and then they don't have the brand awareness to get those products sold across the country where they are not able to push it and push it and push it, and then they're falling off the shelves, and then you lose. Every time you go into a new supermarket, it could cost you like $30,000, $50,000. You lose that within 6 months if you're not turning velocity, right? So what I'm doing is a controlled growth, and I am going into stores where I know that their values align with mine right now, where they actually care about women-led, they care about organic, they care about what they're putting in their bodies in a lot of these stores, and that's where we are doing really well right now, and I hope to be able to scale and bring my costs down so that I can go into every store in America at some point and provide such a delicious product for everyone. But I also know that I'm not going to do that until I'm ready, because yeah, like I said, I'm watching so many CPG companies here today, gone tomorrow, because they think that they need to be, Whole Foods Global or national at Kroger, and you do that and then you lose hundreds of thousands of dollars and nobody's buying your product.
Right.
So I'm being very strategic. I know it's going to take me longer, but like I told, I can't, that was almost a spoiler. We can cut that out. But I recently wrapped an RV. This like RV company did a sponsorship deal with me, and I wrapped it in Pizza Girl, and I drove and lived in this RV camper van, and I drove across Utah and went from Harmons to Harmons to Harmons to Harmons and introduced my brand to everybody and did demos everywhere. And we are killing it at these stores now. So it's like, I know that I can't scale myself, but in the meantime, that's just the way that I'm going about it.
So that was going to be my next question. Are these demos that you've been doing over the last year really adding that brand awareness to
Massively.
your place across these different locations?
Massively. What people don't realize is, okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick little story. There's this girl who came up to me at a demo at Erewhon. She kind of belittled me in a way and was like, oh, cute, I used to do these things. And I was like, oh, well, your company must be massive. What are you doing if you don't have to be in here doing it yourself anymore? She was like, yes, I have this milk. She has like a flaxseed milk company. Yeah. And she said, well, babe, I don't know if I'm going to be here next year. And I go, well, why not? And she goes, well, because I need to raise. And I was like, you need to raise money and you're too good to be doing a demo? I'm confused. Like, tell me about your business. And she was like, well, I was like, how much have you raised so far? And she was like, well, I've raised $4 million. Okay.
Wow.
I've done all of this on $500,000, right? And I'm in more stores than her. I have more product development than her, and she's going to go out of business next year. And I go, what are you spending your money on? You know, like, I run a lean team. Like, I don't understand what you're spending your money on then. And she was like, well, I have an office and I have employees and I have all this stuff. And I'm like, you literally don't need all of that. You know what I mean? Like, that is just for show. And now your business now you're going to go out of business. Like, it was really hard to raise capital in CPG for the past couple years. So rather than panicking every day, my partners and I decided to completely restructure the company to where we just focus on velocity. You can make more money raising your velocity at less stores than going across the country in more stores and not selling shit. So we changed our entire outlook, and I am just in the stores raising my sales at each store. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at the Erewhon in Calabasas. The next day, I'm going to be at Bristol Farms in Beverly Hills. And then I'm doing Whole Foods all of July. And because they say, blow up in your backyard. Do everything you can every single day. Every time somebody tastes it and they meet the founder, they go tell 5 people.
There's a personal connection there.
Correct.
It's an experience to talk about.
Right. And they hear the story and they taste it from me. And it's just something that they'll never forget. And that's priceless. So as long as I can do that, I will do that. But I also know I can't do that when I go into a Kroger or an Albertsons, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to do this very strategically because I'm watching so many companies just disintegrate.
So your day-to-day is basically doing demos and just pumping marketing.
My day-to-day consists...
creating experiences.
Yeah, it consists of... marketing materials. It consists of always making sure that the product is first and foremost and perfect, flying to the factory, and looking for ways to innovate. I'm the one that creates every product, but also I take every single meeting with every single supermarket. We're making decks and pitching all the markets and figuring out strategy and figuring out our, sales and dealing with the distributors. And yeah, I'm involved in all of it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's super cool. Out of all the people that we've talked to on this podcast and the interviews we've done, one thing that continues to get highlighted between amongst all of them is the brand experience.
Yeah.
And I think the overarching thing is if you can offer an experience that's undeniable, that's good and can be talked about, it seems like that's what's giving the people the best success. So for the people that are listening and, in a similar realm, focus on the experience, because at the end of the day, word of mouth is going to 10x your volume in comparison to anything else you can put your money into.
Without a doubt.
So let that be a note to do that.
Yeah, your customers are the most important thing. And I've noticed there's been like third-party sellers of Pizza Girl lately. I don't know how they're even getting the sauce, but I guess I'm not SEOing things properly or something, because I guess when people are Googling me from watching the show, they're finding some other seller first before pizzagirl.com, and they're getting their product sent in a crappy big box with a bunch of bubble wrap. That's not how we do things. And their jars are cracked and this and that. That's why I got off of certain platforms that were treating my product poorly, and developed my own recyclable shipping boxes that don't take any bubble wrap. I created these corrugated inserts to completely eliminate that. There's zero breakage. It's a wonderful experience. So make sure out there you're buying from pizzagirl.com, because unfortunately, there's some people.
So is there counterfeit product out there?
There's no counterfeit yet, thank God. I hope.
Wait until China gets a hold of you.
Right? Yeah.
You're going to be making Pizza Girl sauces in a sweatshop.
Yeah.
Next to Apple microchips.
Oh my God.
And Nikes.
Terrible thought. That's a terrible thought.
That's a good comment. Come on, Owen.
People are just crazy for the Pizza Girl nationwide.
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything that's controversial. That's the truth. No.
Amazing. So you have this thriving business. I want to touch on the show just a little bit.
Let's do it.
You got this business. You're running hot. How did you get into the TV show? Someone reach out to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Through Instagram.
Same. Okay.
Yeah.
So they reached out to you with interest. What was your initial thoughts? You're like, okay, reality TV. I already know what I'm doing. I'm gonna fucking rock this.
No, not at all. I was terrified.
Okay.
The thought of being on a Gordon Ramsay show, for one, is very scary. Number two, just putting up your business, which is your baby, against all these other businesses really scared me. Just because I just would never want anything to harm what I've worked so hard for.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it was very scary. And I think I just went with it because at the time, you know, I really had nothing to lose. Like,
Right.
yeah, I really needed the bump, you
Right.
know? Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to go for it. What else do I have to lose here?
Right. No, absolutely. So you get in, and I think one of the things that I've talked about with other people is that, you know, the show's edited into the drama. Did you expect it to be more business focused? Do you feel like your business is getting highlighted in the way that you wish it?
You know what's interesting is most people on the show have had their business highlighted, right?
Right.
Once. I just got another highlight in the last episode, which I thought was cool and amazing. And you definitely see the bump in sales whenever they highlight the business,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. We did here too.
Yeah, right away. So I think that that's great. However, I think that there was this impression that there would be more of this like Shark Tank element
That's exactly where we were
takes
at.
your company to the next level within a day or two, which isn't the case. They're
Right.
really getting to know the people and the drama more than they're getting to know the business,
Right.
which is a little bit disheartening, I'd say. But I'm hopeful that that'll turn around, but I don't think that it's fully. I asked a couple of the contestants that have already been kicked off if they felt like it was positive, you know? And I think that there's mixed emotions on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think that's been sort of the consensus I know that I had going into it. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a Shark Tank, but it's going to be a more prominent Shark Tank. You get 10 episodes. And
Right.
So it's like
That's what I thought too.
if I can go all 10 episodes of Shark Tank would like blow anybody's business
Yeah.
up. And so that's where my head was going into it. And I think, you know, talking with some of the other contestants, that's sort of where they thought too.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the end of the day, you're getting traction.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
it's not a bad experience for you,
No.
right?
Not at all. No, it's been super positive. I'm super grateful for the experience. Yeah, it's been super positive. Yes, I think in a lot of people's minds, you thought it was going to be more of like a business-related Shark Tank vibes. You know, really, because I remember in a lot of my interviews, I went into depth on like the actual infrastructure of my business,
Right.
and I went into depth of like my projections and my plans, and none of that seems to have any relevance to the show, which was a little interesting to me, you know? Yeah, like
Do you
how
wish
we're
that would have come out as opposed to you arguing with people? I mean, I know the answer to that.
Absolutely. Of
Yeah.
course. Of course. I didn't want the whole thing to be about me arguing with people. I'm disappointed in that. And I actually did. Of course, knowing me, I let everybody know that. I do wish for everyone, not just for me, for everyone, like, you know, that there was a little more on people's businesses, right? Or that Gordon actually sat down and went through the business with you to figure out the business, right? Like even with like Kagan, like there should have been an initial maybe sit down and go over the businesses. I mean, if I was a producer, maybe I would have thrown that in there.
Well, that shit's boring.
You think?
It's boring.
But what about the people that watch Shark Tank? There's no drama.
Shark Tank's watered down. I
It's
mean, that's not like Shark Tank's watered down deal negotiation, right? And they create.
I love Shark Tank.
But they create this like fabricated negotiation style. So everybody is like walks around and they're like they think they know how to negotiate a deal based on Shark Tank.
Right.
Like that's the dumbest fucking shit.
It's not how it works. If there's one thing I've learned in the last 3-4 months since I moved to California and been in some of these meetings like with Chris and them, like the negotiations that happen on Shark Tank are nothing like the negotiations that Chris has. Like
No.
For sure.
And I don't know if it's a strategy or what, but I've learned that the real businesses operate a lot differently than Shark Tank does too.
But the way that they tell the founder story that connects to the audience that's watching is unmatched on a lot of levels, right?
That's true.
Because I can't tell you, I just bought a coffee that I am obsessed with.
Is it fat milk?
Whoops. No. No, but it actually has a similar, like, you know, story where it's based on, you know, the farmers and all of that. So it's at, you know, Trader Joe's, and I was like, oh my God, I already buy this. And then I saw the beautiful woman who creates it and her story, you know, about helping the farmers, and I was really attached to that. And I feel like I do hope that more of that shows on this show
Right.
than just the drama.
Right.
But how do you guys feel about it?
I think that's pretty much the same way that I've thought about it. You know, I obviously, since I've left the show and we've been back, I've started doing a little bit other things. I've started the CPG company with the snow cone syrups.
Right.
And so I understand where I'm not getting what I want out of it, but like, as far as I know, Cool Cats back home, talking to Dave, my business partner there, dude, he's like, we're busy every night, you know,
because
in
of
a
the
small
show.
town when you have 8,000 people. And I know for all my small town people back home, Missouri, dude, I went home for a week and I was like, shit, dude, am I a celebrity? like here, it's a lot different. The
That's
market's a lot
cute.
more saturated.
Yeah.
But back home, especially in that small town, yeah, dude, Cool Cats is buzzing. They're getting all kinds of events. They're booked out with the trailer as much as they can run as one person. He's bringing new people onto the team, which, if you know Dave does not like working with people. I was like a rare goose egg. And so I was just the operations. I ran the people. But now he's like finding it upon himself to hire new people in, start a team. He's recognizing what's possible with scaling a business. And, dude, it's kick-ass. You know, with my time that I spent at Cool Cats, that's all I wanted was to do something like that for them. And so if this show is going to be what provides that for them, then awesome.
That's really
And,
cool of you.
You know, it's
Yeah.
cool in a small town. These people like Jordan in a bigger market, it might be a little bit different story. But I know that Cool Cats is having a heyday. It's on every newspaper when you go back to small town Missouri. Like, it's my fucking face. It's weird.
That's really cool. I just went to Jordan's restaurant for the second time. And to be honest, he doesn't need the publicity. His restaurant he's crushing it.
No, did you meet Pepe over there?
I don't know that I met Pepe.
I can't believe you didn't meet Pepe.
But I did get to go see the new venue. I mean the new space, and it is incredible what he's doing. I mean, he
Dude.
doesn't have enough room for all the customers, so he
Right.
just got a bigger, like incredible spot that has like a speakeasy and like a hidden doors and like the whole vibe. And his food is so incredible. And I asked him, I was like, Jordan, are you regretful? You know, like everyone asks, like, are you sad that you left? And you know, he goes both ways about it a little bit. You know, of course he would have loved to like stay longer, but he also had to do what was best. You know, it's what's putting food on the table for his family, and they did need him. When you start a restaurant, you're needed in there.
Yeah.
You know, Gordon has 1 million people taking care of his stuff, right? But like Jordan didn't have that yet, startup. But he's killing it, and I'm really proud of him. Yeah. Anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for my take on it?
I didn't know if you had one.
Yeah. If you have a take on how you
I got a mouthful of gummy bears
How you
because that's
feel?
how I live.
Yeah.
But
yeah. If you wish that there was more business focus.
no,
or,
I mean, yes and no. At the end of the day, the way I would negotiate a deal would be boring
right.
for viewers.
Absolutely.
No one's going to pay attention to the way I negotiate unless I sensationalize it or
Right.
how I, you know. So it's the truth. And I get what it is. I knew what we were signing up for.
Right.
I think ultimately, though, they put you in this pressure cooker. And I've said this to every guest that
Yeah.
we've had, every contestant that we all were competing against.
Yeah.
And I think what they were really trying to do is, who's the true person under there? What is that person going to be like under pressure?
Yeah.
Because that's what business is all about. And very rarely in investment opportunities do you get to see that out of the people that you're investing in.
Right.
And so here's an opportunity to see I'm not a cook. What is a non-cook going to do in a cooking situation? Is he going to fold? Is he going to crumble? Or is he going to figure out a solution? Because in business, that's what it's all fucking about.
Yeah.
It's figuring out a solution to a problem that you've never seen before, that there's
Right.
no blueprint, there's no
Act
manual
on, your
on it.
toes, get in
Are you
there,
going to freak
roll up
out
your
and start
sleeves. Yeah.
pointing the finger and start blaming other people for something that went wrong? Failure is part of business.
Right.
How do you deal with failure? I think that's what the show ultimately does a good job of showing viewers.
Right.
you know.
And I think one of the lines that Gordon hounds down throughout the course of the entire show is all about, are you an adaptable entrepreneur? And so I think when he's throwing us into these situations where I look like a clueless fuck, it's, are you adaptable, and are you going to figure something out on the fly and actually make yourself useful? Because if you can't do that, all of us know when you're running a business, one day you might be fixing the ice cream machine. The next day you might be having investor meetings. The next day your machine breaks. You know, there's so many different challenges, and if your team can't figure it out, you have to, as the operator and the owner, the biggest challenges fall on you.
Right.
And you never know what the fuck it could be. You could get scammed.
Yeah.
And like, how do you deal with that stuff? You know,
that was really hard.
You know, like that's one of those challenges that you never think about when operating a business, but when they come, you have to fucking figure it out. Otherwise, it all goes belly up.
I feel like you've been tainted during your time here at Smart Cups, because I'm always talking about like, yeah, great, you've got your business plan and everything. What happens when you get scammed?
That's what happened to me. I think if you guys knew about that or not.
That's why I referred to it, because it's something like that you just totally...
A person who impersonated an investor worked on me for 6 months, made me think he was my mentor, and was going to invest $2 million in Pizza Girl. He had somebody impersonate the CEO of Whole Foods, and I thought I had a meeting with the CEO of Whole Foods. Wait till you guys hear the whole story. It's coming out on my podcast called Once Upon a Con, and it is so insane. I ended up digging deep into this person's life. You also don't want to fuck with me, to be honest. I'm kind of like the worst person to...
I knew that going into the challenge. Let me stop you right there, because I knew that on day one, and I looked around the room, and I just go, okay, Caroline, hot-tempered, crazy fucking Italian broad. I am not getting on her bad side.
Smart man. Yeah.
And we did it.
Right. No, we didn't. Yeah.
Because that was my strategy in there.
That was smart.
Don't get my ass kicked by Chanel.
Yep.
And don't get into a fight with Caroline.
Right.
That was it.
Right. No, because now it's like I've gone so far as to I've rallied about I've definitely spoken to at least 30 other victims. I've called every restaurant in this town that has now had him blackballed. I've protested at the district attorney's office and created a rally. I met with the district attorney after trying time and time again. I've given all of piles of evidence to police and to the FBI, and I'm working every single day until this man is behind bars.
I feel bad for this guy, because could you imagine him just craving fried chicken just like you did while you were pregnant and pulling up, and then they have his picture right there, and they're like, no, we can't serve you fried chicken.
Yeah.
That would drive me nuts.
Yeah. No, trust me. People reach out to me now because my story went viral. And they reach out to me now and they're like, just met him. Your story literally saved me. Thank you so much. He was working on me for 2 months. The last family that just...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
my God.
So by you...
Yes.
So people who watch you and see the stance that you've taken on the internet.
Right.
And they're going, Caroline, you got taken. Let it go. Fucking shut up.
No way.
Move on.
No way.
You're actually, by doing this, you're actually saving other business people, other individuals from getting scammed themselves.
I have now saved at least 15 to 20 people that I know of.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And actually last week,
How much did you get taken for?
$35,000.
$35,000.
But that's nothing compared to what he actually put me through mentally, which is what he does. The guy from LA Times calls it mental gymnastics is what he does, and he absolutely breaks you down to a place of just
desperation.
Yeah,
he pries on vulnerable people.
Yeah.
He promises you the world.
He also knew I was just getting out of a divorce. He knew, you can Google and find a lot of things about me, unfortunately.
It goes for everybody, too.
Right.
But especially you. There's
yeah. And he's really good at finding out whatever it is you love, whatever you're good at, and then pretending like he knows all of the ways to be the perfect guy. And in everybody else I ended up interviewing on my podcast, I found that he does the exact same thing for everyone. For the restaurateur, he's telling him he has a new vacant restaurant space for him. With me, I'm meeting the CEO and but he also becomes your really good friend. Like, he met my daughter, he came to her birthday, he met my father, in all these other relationships. Like, I had his ex-wife on telling me her story on my podcast. So she came down to protest with me. his ex-wife of 10 years is like, this man needs to be in jail. And she protested alongside me and all these other victims that, you know, I'm not giving up until this man's in jail. Let's just say that.
He met your daughter.
Yeah. Came to her birthday party.
And
knew I had nothing and knew I lost everything in my divorce and that I was struggling, and told me, I remember when I'm sitting in Texas and he tells me, just when you're hustling and when you're fighting, you stay on that couch. You do what you have to do. You fight till you spend your last dollar. And let's just say I'm not letting him get away.
That's like Cape Fear type shit.
Yeah.
When they meet it gets personal like that.
Very personal. And the last person that just reached out to me, this was last week. He tried to scam this person. They packed up their whole house thinking that they have a brand new baby. Packed up their whole house thinking that they're going to move into a brand new house that David helped them get a down payment for and a good deal on. Wow. Come to find out,
that's next level con man bullshit. Shit.
Oh yeah, But if you Google him, you guys, he's been convicted twice in New York. His name's David Bloom. Let's just put it out there to the universe. David Bloom. I couldn't find anything because there's 50 million David Blooms. But thanks to the awareness that I've brought to it, now everybody Googles him and they find my fucking story. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So now they're reaching out to me.
But think about it. Let's just take law of averages here. You say you saved, what, 10 to 15 people?
At least the ones that have come to tell me, yes.
To tell you. So, yeah. So let's say 10 for easy math.
Easy math, yeah.
Took you for $35,000.
Yep.
You saved that.
Took my neighbor for 70 and my other neighbor for another 40, but also wasted 6 months. So let's say
10 people on average. He takes people for about $40,000. You prevented that guy from earning a living of $400,000 this year.
Yeah, and I've had
Caroline
people reach out like, "Aren't you scared? Like, aren't you scared that he could, have you murdered?" And I'm like, I'm gonna still go for it. That's just
and
me.
That is the hard nosed hustler. I ain't taking shit. Yeah, Caroline, that people need to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucks. In business, you got to watch out because you get scammed, left and right.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
watch
awesome.
out. Watch out for snakes.
Watch out.
Snakes in the grass.
There's snakes in the grass, everybody.
There's snakes.
There's a snake in the grass.
That's my favorite
we were like
scene.
sweating and dying in that moment.
No, okay, so you're adaptable. You're a great entrepreneur, and I'd say that's why you have gone as far as you have in this challenge. And it's undeniable. I think from this podcast, people are going to get to see a side of you that they probably honestly don't want to know, but they're going to fucking find out because it really kills the story. But I feel it's liberated me, and I feel like it's.
Do you feel like bondage has been lifted off of you just by getting to know Caroline a little bit better?
Yeah, I'm like.
You've let go. You've got closure in your life a little bit?
I do. Because then I feel like whenever people start questioning me about the only thing people talk about in the show is fucking Caroline, I know what to say now. I'm like, well, she's not batshit crazy. Here's her life story if you really want to know about her.
That's so funny. This guy who was pulling up next to me down on the street was like, I'm watching you right now. I'm rooting for you. I was like, I'm not that bad, right? He's like, you're not that bad. He's like, you're not that bad. So that's like the whole funny story now. It's like, you're not that bad.
No, so we're excited to see what happens. You've made it all the way up until the finale. We've been through all of these challenges, week 1 through 9, and you've performed, you've continued to make it past every single week, even when you probably and everybody else wanted you to get kicked off.
Right.
Or inspired, like episode 6, they try to throw you under the bus, and it wasn't the first time it happened. It's not the last time it happens. Like, how does this feel to be one step from getting Gordon's investment? Did you think you'd make it this far? I have a belief in myself where I know that I'm worthy of making it that far. I think that will people see past all the stuff that is out there? I know that that's an uphill battle for me. But ultimately, I'm absolutely worthy of Gordon Ramsay's investment. And what would his investment do to your life and your company?
It would change everything. I mean, it would I mean, it would just take it to, it would fast track it for one, and just give it that recognition that, but you know what? I already feel like I got that from him. And, you know, let's be real. $250,000 is a lot of money, but it's not going to make or break any of our businesses, right? Because that's gone in 3 months, right? So, but what he brings to the table is so much more valuable than that. It is, you know, just the notoriety, just, you know, just making it as far as, you know, I do, and in spite of all the other shit, you know, just shows that, you know, that I have something here, you know?
So you do feel validated?
Yeah.
Now that, you know, you, me, and Lan are in the final, and it's going to come down to us three, do you feel validated?
I do.
And like, your FU to your family right now? They didn't think you could do it. Right. And here you are.
Now you're with Gordon fucking Ramsay.
Like every chef, every cook, they love Gordon.
Yeah.
Your father, pizza place, restaurant.
There's a picture on my dad's wall of my dad and Gordon when my dad catered something from a million years ago. So, yeah.
And here you are.
Yeah.
He told you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And here you are.
Yeah.
At the 1 yard line of getting Gordon Ramsay's $250,000 investment.
Yeah, it's a dream come true, honestly. I mean,
you did it.
Yeah, just Gordon.
Regardless of whether
looking at that closely at the brand.
Whoever ends up winning.
Right. Yeah.
Whoever ends up winning, you did it.
Thank you.
You fucking did it.
Yeah.
Pink hair, crazy, whatever they want to call you, you fucking did it.
Woo! I mean, you guys are so awesome, and I just feel like how lucky. You know, believe it or not, people, I'm friends with 90% of the people on this cast.
Yeah. We've all pretty much remained close.
Yeah, we have. We all talk regularly.
Content. We talk.
But here's the thing. We all experienced something together.
Right.
And it's a bond that we will always share, that no other person from the outside could ever begin to understand.
Yeah.
No one understands the stress. No one understands the anxiety.
Right.
Nobody understands the circumstances.
Also remember, it's not like we just walked on and were annoyed with people. We also had to be on buses with these people. We had to hear them in other worlds. There's things that happen off camera that definitely, you know, make you like or dislike a person.
Yeah.
And I knew Megan was a snake when I was very emotional and sad that I was going to be missing my daughter's birthday. And by the way, that all happens in the episode that we all just saw with the ghost kitchens. So on the sidelines, I'm crying because it's my daughter's birthday that day, and they weren't going to let me go see her, even though she was having a birthday party literally right down the street. They said that they were going to help me out and send her a big, beautiful bouquet of balloons. I get a video from my daughter's dad, and it's a fucking 6. She's turning 7.
Oh.
So not only am I the mom that isn't there.
Oh.
With all
Which is a touchy subject to begin with.
Of course. But now I don't know how old my kid is, thanks to this show. So I am so angry and livid while I'm having to do all this other stuff on camera. And people don't see that, right? And then there was a night, I'm sitting in the hotel, and Megan, who has never been nice to me, never had, you know, said anything like friendship-wise to me, sees me crying in the living room, like contemplating if I'm going to leave or not. She tells me, Caroline, if you want, I'll open the door for you, and you can sneak out, and you can come back in, and I'll open the door for you. And I knew right then and there she was going to encourage me to sneak out of this show and make sure I got caught by the time I got back.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's the truth of why I wasn't into her.
Wow.
Yeah. And also there were other things that happened very similarly, and you know me.
I think we all have stories like that.
Yeah.
I think we all have stories like that.
Yeah.
So there's more to what you're watching.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, Megan and I are not friends, right? But everybody else, like, even Ashley follows me on Instagram, which I thought was interesting. I was like, if you're going to hate on somebody, it's interesting that you come to follow me on Instagram. Eventually, I followed her back because I don't want enemies, but we're not friends. She hasn't reached out to say, hey, screaming at you on stage in front of people when it wasn't a grilling.
Yeah. Don't you think that probably hurt her? Instead, she thought she was getting at you. And I've spoken about this a couple times to people.
Have you? Okay.
I think that didn't really make you look bad. I think that made her look bad. Because if I'm an investor,
yeah,
and whoever I invest in is an extension of who I am, I need to be able to trust that person
in public.
In
right?
public,
okay.
Correct.
So that's my biggest thing, and this is why I'm a little bit livid about this part of it, because in front of all of the people, you as a team and as a business, you want to say I'm not a team player because I was telling Sydney that it looked like shit and we need to redo it? Fine, say what you want, but I say that in my own business if we're about to put out some garbage, right? On stage, as a united front, in front of the guests that come to do this TikTok, you're going to call me out and say all the shit that went bad in front of these guests? What kind of business person are you? I'm sorry, but you run all these big businesses, you say, and you work with all these people, but you never.
Because she cracked under pressure, which is my point. This is what this show is
and wanted to get me kicked off.
This show is intended to test you to your limits to see where you will crack.
And hence,
she
cracked.
The facade of professionalism broke, and she attacked you. And I think that ultimately, if I'm an investor with a brand,
right,
that's in the public light all the time, that would concern me.
Right.
And when we have her on the podcast, I will bring that to her attention.
And I
will have that conversation with her in person.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't a grilling. We were still performing in that moment. And you attacked me on a stage in front of Gordon's prolific, chef guests that we're still performing for.
But on that note, I'm gonna call you out.
Please do.
Because episode 9, we're in Vegas.
Yeah.
There's miscommunication between me and you.
Yep.
You flip out on me while we got guests.
Backstage. Unfortunately, I was loud enough for them to hear me, but I did not do it.
Man, you're loud.
But I did not do it in front of them like
No.
Ashley did. I waited till we got backstage to tell you were a fucking asshole who threw me under the bus, which I get why you did it. But
I didn't throw you under the bus.
I get why you did it, homie. Yes, you did.
I still have my notes.
Okay.
I still have my notes. Can
I say how I feel about this?
You missed your cue.
Hold on. Let me say how I feel about this.
Go ahead.
I stayed up all night. Yes, I wrote notes. I thought it'd be easier to give to everybody, right? But I looked at you and I said, no matter what, make sure the meat is there by this point. That was like a skeleton of like, hey, this is how it's going to go. But also, you also gotta kind of know what to do, right? As well, like kind of, like you said, pivot, act in the moment. So things went by a little bit faster. I said, just whatever you do, make sure the meat gets there at this time. No fucking meat gets there. You're standing there with your fucking, twiddling your fucking thumbs.
I'm carrying a plate of fucking steaks on swords, okay?
Yeah.
Waiting for my cue.
Yeah.
And the cue never fucking comes, okay?
So don't you think with the
I'm
other
waiting
steak
for at
coming
least something from you, and it never happened.
Well, that's certainly how it's going to look.
But I want you to know. Okay.
Yeah. I get
All
it.
right,
At the end,
regardless,
it's eat and or
I just
be
want
eaten,
you. I just
right?
want you to know, because you said something and you just threw something out just the same way my fucking wife does. All right. I want you to know.
God.
I want you to know that I did not do that on purpose. I know it's important because you are implying
I really thought you did it on purpose
that it was a
because
strategy
it's
of mine. No, I
thought it was a
literally
strategy.
standing there going, when's my cue gonna come? When's my cue gonna come? When's my cue gonna come? And then you didn't. My cue didn't come.
I said to you, no matter what, make sure the meat is here at the table by this moment.
Yeah. Well, I just want you to know that it was not a strategy. I did not do it on purpose.
But
it
you know
wasn't,
what?
I wasn't trying to sabotage you.
But what I did in that moment was pivoted on the spot, where I'd used one person as the demonstration because nobody else had their food. So instead of me tripping out like Ashley did in front of the judges, I made it work in front of the judges, went behind stage, and then gave you a piece of my mind. Hence, how it should be done.
Hey.
Thank you. Mic drop.
Mic drop? Who the fuck? Fucking you guys are late with my drinks. I'm standing there like an idiot waiting for the drinks to come and I didn't flip out on anyone.
Whose program? What during your amazing...
During my drinks in Vegas. I didn't flip out on anyone. I didn't say peep to anybody because I know shit happens.
Part, yeah.
You don't remember. How convenient.
I know. Jesus. It is convenient. I have selective memory.
Yes,
Does your wife do
she
that
does. She does. Okay.
What can I say? I have selective memory.
It's important for me. Like shit happens in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
I could understand why you were upset.
Yeah.
I think that was the only time that
it
you
was
and
very heightened. It was by the end.
It was the end.
It was like
stress
eat or be eaten.
Yeah.
I
will say this, and I don't know if we can say this or not, but I remember the image I always remember is we all got grilled episode 9, and you're sitting out in the holding area, and I'm standing just getting fresh air, and we're on hard ice, and we can't talk, and you always broke hard ice. That was your thing.
That was my thing.
And you turn around, you're like, who'd you say should go home? And I like looked at you and I went, you. And you turn around, you're like, you fucking motherfucker, asshole. I thought we were fucking friends. And I looked at you and I'm like, dude, you yelled at me. Of course I'm gonna fucking pick you. It's a TV show. Hey. I am afraid of losing to either you or Lan. I will be perfectly honest with you.
Right. And I am afraid of losing to either you or Lan. I knew that I wasn't going to lose to Ashley. I mean, that performance, there you have it. I mean, I may have been emotional about mine, but that's because I cared so much about it, you know? Right. So I am. I'm an emotional Italian. You can read me like a book, which is how you know I'm not fake. You can tell when I'm upset. You can tell when I'm happy. I wear all of my emotions on my sleeve, and take it or leave it, love it or hate it. That's Caroline D'Amore, the pizza girl.
That's it. Caroline D'Amore, the pizza girl.
Yeah.
Man, I'm stoked for the finale. I was stoked to get to watch episode 9. It sucks that I can't be there, but I'm glad that you two are there. I know this finale is going to be sick, and you guys are going to have some sweet pop-up shops that come up. And so I hope that you guys are excited. I hope that we're vying for Gordon's investment, and I can't wait to watch the episode on Wednesday. Yeah. Caroline, where can we find you on social medias? So I can go leave hate comment, or no. So
Yes, because I need to win this. So let's leave more hate comments. Look at her face.
Gordon is going to make that decision based on hate comments. He just has a full team deleting all of his, you know?
Ooh.
Let's be real. Everybody has hate comments. But no, you can find me and follow me at Caroline D'Amore. And for my business, it's at Pizza Girl Official on Instagram.
And your pizza sauce can be ordered online or
pizzagirl.com for my delicious gravy that you can use for pizza, pasta, chicken dishes, veggie dishes, anything. Yep.
Wonderful. And if you're on the West Coast, you might be in a supermarket, a few locations in the Midwest. So check it out. Try out the pizza sauce. Man, Caroline, I'm so glad that you came on today. I hope that the listeners resonated with your story, and I hope that someone plugs this shit on Reddit so people can come and find the real Caroline. And because it'll ruin their day, and hopefully it'll just get some traction for our podcast a little bit. But
I appreciate you coming on. Great story. A lot of respect for you, and the best person to win. I guess it's up to Gordon, but in my opinion, I think all three of us are winners.
Yeah. No, I agree. And honestly, I have so much respect for both of you. Always have, always will, and I love our little friendship. Yay!
Alrighty, Caroline, have a safe drive home. We enjoyed